I'm great. Everything is okay. How's the morning going for you? You had
Yeah, it
classes
is
today?
going. Yeah, it is going really well. Actually, you know what? I have a fever slightly, a mild fever. I really
Okay.
wanted to cancel the class, but it was your class that I
Okay.
didn't want to cancel. You know it
Oh,
very well.
okay.
It is quite difficult to book your session.
I think these days the platform is growing and we have a lot of learners. And I feel most of the tutors are kept busy. It gets booked so
Yeah,
fast. Good for the tutors.
absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
This English year is really growing day by day. I have watched so many videos on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, I have
Right.
watched so many videos. I really like to have conversation with tutor like you. Many
Okay.
more. I just want to spread awareness. I just want to know about your experience regarding English language. That is what I like to do.
Okay. Right. So speaking also, I've also focused on this. Conversation should always have an objective. Because today there is a
Absolutely.
wrong idea spreading, circulating. People think that it's just like speaking for some time and your English will become flawless within no time. No, that's not the idea. Speaking should happen with an objective. We have a lot of speaking platforms today, just like English Yari, but we need to really see if there is an objective, if there is a curriculum that's followed. Otherwise, I have also seen international platforms, national platforms that just encourage people to speak. Speaking is the best way to learn, but if you just speak without any objective, you will end up making more mistakes and taking those mistakes for granted. And it's
Absolutely.
happening with many learners. It's really happening with learners. So many people think, not just here, many people think I've taken 100 sessions, but still there is no improvement. The improvement comes only with some objectives, with follow up assignments. So here we have that option, provided you meet the learners regularly, or at least you write down what you are doing and where you're focusing on. Yeah.
Absolutely. Totally agreement. Actually, you know what? Let me give you my example. I am from Jharkhand. So what
Mm,
happens, learners from Jharkhand, when they start learning English, in the beginning, they completely focus on grammar, words, okay, pronunciation. You know it very well, ma'am, that India has multiple languages, or we have mother tongue influence when we speak in English language at initial stage.
mm,
So I always try to make, as well as I apply on myself as well, the more we practice, the more we try to speak, definitely we will get better sooner or later. So
mm,
pronunciation or accent is not something accent. People, most of the people talk about accent. Accent is something that every country has. We already have our own accent.
okay.
We we have our own accent. We should focus on pronunciation. Pronunciation is not something that can be corrected easily.
Mm-hmm.
It takes time. For example, when I was uh, at my early age, my teacher used to say very,
Mm,
very much. Okay, initial, in place of initial, they used to say initial. So we
mm,
adopted in our
mm.
early age. We adopted when we got to know the word how should be pronounced. Then we started working on it. So 35 years of age, I was learning wrong English. It will
Mm,
not more than 2 to 3 years. I started working on my pronunciation, a good English. So definitely it will take a few more years. The way I'm gathering information, the way I'm talking to you while having conversation, I'm listening to you carefully. I'm trying to
mm,
understand what is
mm.
the right pronunciation, what is the wrong pronunciation. Pronunciation is not something that I can change overnight.
Yeah.
Another thing is that, ma'am, as I told you in our last conversation, that, ma'am, some questions are left. I will ask you in our next session.
Mm.
For example, we have emphasized English a lot. Suppose that a British or American wants to learn English, how long will they take? Will they learn within 2 to 3 months? Will they learn within 6 months? It depends on their work, whether they are ready to do
No,
hard
speaking
work
of
or not.
the native speakers of English.
Yeah. Suppose
Okay.
that,
Yeah, if you're asking a question, I can clarify that, but just complete your question.
yeah, my
Yeah.
question is that, ma'am, we expect to learn English within 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
We have our own native language, Hindi. We don't even know how long did we take to learn Hindi.
Mm.
On the other hand, suppose that a British or an American wants to learn Hindi. Is this possible to learn Hindi within 3 months? As far as I am concerned, Hindi is 10 times tougher than English language. What do you think about it, ma'am?
Okay. See, before going to this, the answer, first thing is pronunciation is not, it cannot be separated from accent. Okay. Both focus on throwing the sound, but accent is specific to a particular place. For example, if you want to specialize in American accent, it is something that's used in America. It's specific to the culture, the community, and the region. The region, for example, Indian accent, while using English, is specific to India. So there also you have North Indian, South Indian speaking English. Similarly for British, Australians, and all that. These are not separate. They deal with sounds, but the thing is, pronunciation is throwing of sound, which is mandatory. You have to work on pronunciation. Like for example, if the word is sound, we cannot pronounce it as sound, sound. It sounds like something else. Sound is pronunciation. I'm throwing, oh, that sound is thrown. But I can add more fragrance. I can make it more flowery if I put some accent. But that's my choice. I can just
Yeah,
use my pronunciation and articulate. If the listeners are able to understand, that's more than enough. So that is the
yeah,
difference. So they are not two different things. They are in fact together. They can be merged and they should be integrated, but this is the small difference. So one is choice. The other one is like it overlaps, but this is choice. Okay, that's one thing.
yeah,
Coming to your question, um, if you ask me how long, it's not just Hindi or English or Sanskrit or anything. I have seen foreigners coming and learning our dance, our culture, and also even learning our languages. Okay, so definitely it depends on so many things. One is the effort of the learner. The method of the trainer or the tutor is also important.
yeah,
It can be any language, not just English, or they learning Hindi or their desire to learn a particular language. And we have people trying to specialize in Sanskrit, Tamil, because Tamil is the oldest language. So such kind of things, Chinese, whatever you want to learn, for your benefit or for your development. It's not just English. They may or they may not take time. See, here in India, when we learn English, some people speed up. They show that the progress is inevitable. You cannot deny that they haven't progressed at all. It's quite explicit. The sentence formation, the pronunciation, within months they develop. But I cannot compare their effort to another person, to another learner, and say, see, that is what this person is doing. No. So method is important. The effort of the learner is important. The pace of the learner, the dedication, and of course from where you're taking the classes and who is teaching you. And above all, the module, the curriculum. All these things are important because when it comes to native speakers, they imbibe, they don't learn. If you ask them, when did you begin learning English? They will say, I don't remember. As my from the time I began conscious, whenever I began remembering things, from the time I remember, I think I've been speaking English. That's what they will tell you. Maybe before that they don't remember, they're not able to recollect what they were doing, but from the time my memory was like, conscious, and when I was able to remember certain things, I think I've been speaking this language. But maybe after some time, if you ask them, how did you learn Hindi? They may tell you, oh, I began learning at the age of 10. So that's conscious effort. But the other one is imbibing. There's a lot of difference between imbibing a language. You grow up learning, you grow up imbibing the language, because if you have to express, you have to use that language. That is a necessity. Just like Hindi. The other one is conscious effort. So that's why we differentiate saying this is mother tongue, the other one is foreign language. For them, Hindi, Bengali, Malayalam, Telugu will be foreign languages. But if they take the effort, they can do it. Like we cannot say they will take 1 month or 2 months or 3 months, because I have seen them learning Kathakali, which is one of the traditional art forms of Kerala, or Bharatanatyam from Tamil Nadu, because I used to go to Kalakshetra because my friends were there. So I've seen a lot of people from France, Portugal, and all these places learning. And within no time they learn. When it comes to language, also, it depends on the ambience and the environment you give them. See, one thing that's very important is they are used to self learning. Today, I think in India, only after the pandemic, only after the lockdown, or since the lockdown, people have really understood the benefit of self learning. So, even if
Absolutely.
you give all these methods to Indians, they will say, ma'am, I'm not able to do it because I didn't have the environment in the past. But when it comes to the Western mindset, I'm not saying that everybody is right. Definitely no. They have their own ways of criticizing and degrading people, okay, debasing people, I should say. But when you look at people who really want to learn, just like how we have in our society, they are used to self learning from a very young age. So during school times, or from the middle school, I think so. Even from the primary school, they are taught to dress on their own. They have to keep things. But today, our schools are trying to do it. They are trying to incorporate these methods. To an extent, it is possible because we need teachers who are not only qualified, but who understand what's the meaning of training, self-learning, and all that. So there is a very big difference there. Now, during the pandemic, they didn't face many problems because they were used to self-learning. You compare the university student of UK and a university student of our country. Let's not take English, some as the subject. They are used to self-learning. But the interest to develop a skill definitely is based on from where they take the lessons, okay, what platform or what academy, what organization. Because I've come across a lot of platforms in the UK also, like when I was searching for Celta Delta courses. Some of them are frauds, like they scam you easily. So that's why everywhere, this is prevalent everywhere in the world. It's not just specific to one place. Today, the main problem is people are so obsessed with this language, so
Absolutely.
obsessed in
Over
such a way
exaggerated.
that, yeah, sometimes the content creators also make mistakes. It's sad to see that people follow such content creators. Like what I'm trying to tell you is not about the slip of tongue. We all make mistakes. Even I make mistakes when I speak, but that's not the thing. Suppose I'm giving the meaning of a particular word, I cannot afford to type it wrong. For example, words like learned. Recently, also, I saw on one of the channels LERNED. That person was trying to give the meaning of the word learn, but the word itself had typo error, or maybe the spelling was not typed properly, or she didn't cross check, the person did not cross check. So this is where we need to work. Actually, it's not just language, I feel, because language is a tool, and we cannot demean saying that, oh, English is just a language. That is also wrong. You should have that balance. English is a language. It's a beautiful language. It is a global language. Tomorrow, even if we don't have to learn the language. Suppose our country says no need to learn language. You can manage with what you know. Still, there is a passion to learn English. You have the passion to learn that language. That is where sincerity and dedication comes. Because when it comes to foreigners, it's not mandatory for them to come and learn Hindi or Sanskrit or any other languages. Bengal language, the literature is so rich, it's famous. Why should they come and learn? For PhD, for research, for their dissertation? A lot of purposes are there. So it comes with the mindset, culture, and learning method. That's what I was trying to tell you. That's why I gave you a lot of examples.
Thank you. Thank you. Your explanation was elegant, man. So
Thank
actually,
you.
ma'am, what I think that, for example, when I was in Saudi Arabia,
Okay.
when I had been there for 2 years. So when I was there, I used to speak Arabic. I used to communicate with Arabic people in Arabic language. So
Hmm.
it's been around 5 years.
Okay.
Even nowadays, I try to recall all those sentences, words. I'm not able to do that. It simply means that the language which you speak on daily basis, you will never forget. You have to keep speaking day in, day out. If
Hmm.
you learn something, don't implement anywhere, you are going to forget very soon. But in case of
Hmm.
English, what we do, we always try to mug up the things.
Hmm.
We don't
Possible.
try
Yes.
to understand. We don't
Hmm.
try to understand. You might have noticed majority of learners in India learn English due to their compulsion. Some learners wants to pass the exam, some
Yeah.
learner wants to crack the interview. So you know it very well, ma'am. This is my personal observation. If you do something in compulsion, you will not get remarkable result, fruitful result. What do you think, ma'am? Am I right or wrong?
Some people fall in love with the language out of compulsion also, because some people hate the
Yeah.
language. I have seen IT professionals who hate the language, but they learn it out of compulsion. But slowly, that's what I told you. Again, the methods are important. I have a lot of people who come for training sessions to me. Some of them say, "Ma'am, I really hate this language." Why? Because so important. Why should I learn somebody else's language? It's true. What they're trying to tell me is true. I have my beautiful language. Why should I learn some foreigner's language? Okay, I understand your frustration. Now, why are you learning it? I have to send emails. I have to speak to my boss. I have to give presentation. Okay, fine. So that's your necessity. But slowly, maybe because of the methods, they say, ah, now I know why English is so beautiful. So it's not just because of my method. Definitely not. Their effort also. So after some time, you can hate something and you can fall in love. Just like a relationship, sometimes you hate people, but maybe they'll become the best friends or they may become lovers for life. It's just like relationship. Some people may love the language, like for example, math. You love the language, but because of the teacher, you begin hating it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, totally
so
agree.
method, the atmosphere. Now you spoke about Arabic, so you have to be in touch with the language. Speaking, reading, listening, writing is definitely out of your choice. It's done purely out of choice. Many people don't like writing. Let's keep that aside, but it's powerful. But the other three aspects, the other three skills, be in touch with the language. If you're not able to speak, also try reading, try listening. That'll also help. And then, of course, if you
Yeah.
get a chance to use that, better. That's the best. That's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody has rightly said that, I don't know who has said this. If you really want to learn something, immerse yourself into that as
Yes,
much
you
as
have to begin
possible.
liking it.
Definitely.
Yeah. some
Absolutely.
some people do it consciously, some people, it just happens. They may just tell me, I don't know when I began liking this language. I've heard a lot of people, specifically professional, from the professional field, like engineers and doctors, because they were not taught in the right way. I'm not always trying to pull down the education system, but sadly the professional courses do not give much importance to English. They say communication skills, but they were not taught the right way. Ah,
Yeah.
English period means some fun. That was the thing. That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, ma'am, we have been taught since childhood only English. We have never
Not
been
everyone.
taught spoken English, written English.
Yeah, yes,
During
yes, yes, yes.
during schooling, we have been taught only English. We we were not be able to make, sorry, we are not aware of spoken or written English. When
Yeah.
we read something, we think that this is called English. When
Mm-mm.
we write,
No, you were not given chance to interact because our classes are like that. You have 38 students or 40 students in the same class and you have one teacher. I wouldn't call
absolutely.
it traditional method. Of course, it's part of the traditional method, but you're given less chance to interact. Because of the
Yeah,
syllabus, we can't blame anyone. The curriculum is designed in such a way that you have exams, terminal exam, internal assessment, project, everything falls. So, revamping is going on, but I don't know to what extent. And also, the mindset of the people is also something that we need to work on, because sometimes people are not matured enough to understand the necessity to learn a language. That is also
yeah,
there. English is becoming so famous because everybody understands the language. It's a global language. But what if everybody spoke only Sanskrit in India? Only Sanskrit. We all will run around to learn Sanskrit or Tamil or
definitely.
Hindi, only Hindi. We'll begin cursing the language. Why should I learn Hindi? I have my mother tongue. No? It's psychology, but you have to immerse yourself at the earliest. Try liking it. But if you feel it's not your cup of tea completely, then ignore it. That's all. You don't have to force yourself. You don't
Yeah.
have to force. I always
So
tell the learners, yeah,
yeah, so it is obvious, ma'am. It is obvious that when we speak a language, it is obvious that we make some silly mistakes. Even in our native language, when we talk to somebody, we make a mistake, but nobody cares. But in case of
nobody
English,
cares. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, but
that's
in
what.
case of English language, people are ready to catch your mistakes.
Hmm.
When you
Yes.
make even a basic mistake, they will make fun of you, laugh at you. So what happens when somebody starts learning English, they try to speak fluent English. They don't want to make a mistake. They promise
Hmm.
themselves that I will speak good English, else I will not speak. When they make a
Okay.
mistake, yeah, when they make a mistake, some irrational fears take place in their brains,
Yeah,
like fear
yeah,
of being judged, fear of
yeah, yeah,
making mistakes.
yeah.
when
Yes.
they when they do a silly mistake, people start laughing at them. Oh my god,
Yeah.
what kind of English you are speaking, you are not supposed to speak. But no language, as far as I am concerned, I have been speaking in Hindi language since my childhood. Even though sometimes I have conversation with my friends, I make lot many silly mistakes.
Yes,
I
yes,
want to
yes.
speak something but end up saying something else.
Exactly. Exactly. It
So
happens
I
with all of
always
us.
suggest,
Yeah.
yeah, I always suggest everybody start speaking. No matter whether you are speaking good English or broken English. If you don't speak English, you will not be able to understand where you have to
Mm.
work on.
Mm. Yeah, true. That's there. And speak with people who encourage you, who slightly motivate you. Okay? Certain things we have to ignore in life, which is also part of every aspect, not just learning English. If you're learning driving, or if you're learning swimming, or even if you're working somewhere, criticism is part of life. Some people take it positively. Today, also, the government has passed a lot of rules, you know. Today, I have seen a lot of people making fun of disasters. Recently, in Kerala, we had the massive landslide. You won't
Yeah,
believe the number of comments that come up in every YouTube channel criticizing and demeaning the people who are suffering there, blaming
yeah,
the government, blaming everybody. I mean, we don't have the right to do that. People will do their job.
definitely.
What we should do, embrace them. If you can't do anything for that, people at least pray for them instead of criticizing and saying good that they are facing it. What is the guarantee that both of us will not get washed away in an earthquake or a landslide? Can you say there is
Yeah,
guarantee? No. So, government is taking so many measures to actually curb. So today they have passed a bill saying you cannot criticize. I mean, you should know what you're trying to say. That is language and communication. We are humans. We
yeah,
always blame the animals, but I think they have more maturity than us. So we should know
totally
why
agree.
should we tell it or what is the right way. So there are some people who say, I like it this way. This is how I learn. So they try
Hmm.
to make a buffoon of themselves. So that's different. That's totally different. So there are a lot of debates going on. See, today the world is highly competitive, and I think many people are stressed, pressurized, and they try to take it on others. That's what is really happening. So they don't understand whether it's a disaster or whether it is humanity or whether it is something else,
Yeah,
right?
actually, there is saying, Rini ma'am, the pain is ideally realized by the one who goes through, not by everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why does it happen, ma'am? Due to huge unemployment. They do not have any other work to do. That's why they come to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and make some inappropriate comments against those people who are suffering.
Yeah, yeah. True. Yes. It can happen to
That
anyone. Like, it's not just suffering, but it can happen to anyone. All around the world, people are scared. There are so many things happening. There are
yes,
innocent
yes, yes,
people also being harassed. I mean, that's not correct, right? That's what our law teaches us. You can punish people, but none of the innocent people should be punished. That's
yeah.
what we have been learning. I think time is up, and time just flies when
Okay.
we speak to each other,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, thank you.
Thanks a lot for joining me.
Actually, you know, ma'am, it is worth having conversation with you.
Thank you.
Whenever
Thank you.
whenever I get a chance to book your session, I grab it as soon as possible or as fast as I can do.
Next time we'll focus on the topic also because we need to work on your skills. And then maybe towards the end we can take two questions, one question that will help people. Right?
Okay, okay,
Okay. Bye
okay,
bye.
okay.
Pleasure
Bye
speaking to you. Bye
bye.
bye.
Have a
Bye
good
bye.
day ahead, ma'am.